everybody, I'm back, Lord Josh here once again. I'm at a very exciting point in my own personal life right now. Thanks to Magick, I am getting very serious about buying my dream car, a goal of mine that I've been thinking about for some years. I've recently had a period of tremendously good luck, and I'm doing all I can to take advantage of the heaven-sent opportunities that are coming in at a huge fast rate. I just need to take care of a few more things, then I should be good to go. You can truly manifest anything if you are committed and sincere. So don't let anyone tell you that magic cannot change your life, because it can and it does. So today I want to continue getting deeper into talking about manifesting storms and Taoist weather magic. You might want to write down some of the info that I'll be sharing because it isn't overly difficult or expensive to get benefits from it. On the subject of crystals, stones, and minerals that bring forth certain changes in the weather. These are essential tools that most Taoist weather workers will use on a regular basis. To begin, there are two main types of weather stones. Those of the external, such as those that are found in the outside world, and those of the internal, that are found in the body, brain, stomach, and other organs. There are around 20 external weather stones that greatly enhance environmental magic. They are usually found in forests, streams, caves, and mountains. Some have a natural magical property, whilst others have to be consecrated in order to be used for rituals. The stones that contained the pure energy were often considered to be spiritually charged, due to a trapped nature deity that resided inside of it. The trapped energy gives the stone its great power. So how do you know this? How can you tell? How can you tell apart a regular stone from a divine one? An ancient way of doing it would be to go into nature and look in between clusters of rocks. If you saw a bright shining light coming from the gaps in the rock formations, it's there that you would find magical stones. Now I've done this myself. I'm blessed to live in a really nice agricultural area, and I've got a forest behind my house, a fairly decent sized one, and I often go searching for more stones to add to my collection. I've seen what I would describe as glowing yellow auras around the rocks, and I only take the stones after I ask permission first. So if I get a bad vibe, I simply leave them be and continue to search for more. So what kind of stones are we talking about here? The first I want to mention is Aqua Marine. Now take a guess what this stone can do if used correctly. The clue is in the name, Aqua. This one helps bring forth rain and rain storms, whilst the Sunstone can be used to clear a storm and disperse heavy clouds. To know the property of a stone, take a look at the name and the appearance. Aquamarine is usually blue and light green, which is associated with water, whilst the sunstone appears with a very deep orange or reddish color to represent the sun. I talk a lot in my videos about creating storms and calling winds, but what about those people out there who aren't really interested in conjuring up anything? What if you wanted to prevent a dangerous storm from affecting you and your local area? This is possible. You might want to use a combination of chrysocolla and malachite. They are known to bring forth clear and calming weather, restoring harmony to one's own area, and that's basically what you're going to want to have that effect on your well-being. So if you're a practicing occultist, you could use these stones by placing them in a secure, dry, and hot area. Don't let them get wet. So here I would personally use a sunstone, whereas if you wanted to call a rainstorm, you would need to soak the stone in a river. In this case, I would use selenite. Selenite has a moonstone-like appearance. This is a very important detail because lunar energy is very yin, and water is the most yin element out of them all. The moon and the earthly tides are very much in sync with one another. So if one wanted to produce a strong wind, it would be beneficial to use an obsidian stone. To do this, I would need to expose the rock to fresh air. My outdoor altar is elevated and is very exposed to wind, so I would typically place the obsidian on a high point on the outdoor altar, and I would leave it there for say an hour, and gradually over time it would begin to take effect. If I wanted to create fog and mist, I've done this many times as you can see right here, I would use a gate. To look at a gate, it's very psychedelic, trippy, and quite beautiful. Now it can also be used to bring storms, so some of these stones have other uses. So to be more specific, moss agate is the one you'll need. And some practitioners use it for cloud busting, but I found it works great with fog. Now let's get into one of my personal favorites, Bloodstone. Not only do they look pretty badass, they also have very deep meanings and uses with the weather. It is used to call storms and thunder, but it's more unique than the others. If you keep a bloodstone in your hand as you're practicing, or if you wear it as a charm, it can help the practitioner to read signs and omens from the weather by paying attention to the rumbling sounds of the heavens. A good weather magician will always listen to the subtle movements of the rolling thunder and the whistling wind during a storm, and a bloodstone can help decipher the sounds. You can use this one for divination, so this one in my opinion gives you a lot of guidance during the rituals. Here is one that I don't use very often, Holi Stones, not holy, holy, because this particular type has a hole in the center of the stone. They are sometimes referred to as wish stones, typically found in water. This one is made to counteract weather magic. So let's say, for example, by some crazy chance, a weather magician was watching me on YouTube and hated my guts, and wanted to attempt to destroy me by summoning up a shocking storm. In order for me to destroy that person's weather spell, I would have to use a holy stone. In this case, I would attach a piece of string through the hole of the stone, and I would wave the string back and forth with my arms extended upwards to the sky. So imagine waving something around like you would a lasso. This gets rid of any weather spell that someone's put on you, and they are also great protecting stones. On the flip side of counteracting weather magic, since these stones are often found in the sea, if I were able to find a large enough stone, I could throw it back into the water to create a gigantic sea storm. This is something I've never tried because I don't live anywhere near the ocean, but it's on my occult bucket list. So I've got one here that many of you will be familiar with, Quartz Crystals. These crystals have a huge place in Taoist weather magic. Taoists of old regarded quartz to be like hardened water that had turned solid over many years. Clear quartz is very useful. It has the pure yang energy to it, which makes it super powerful and effective at summoning wind and rain, also having the association with dragon spirits. Some of you may be asking, how big does a magical stone have to be in order for it to have a noticeable effect? From my experience, it does matter. However, I think the larger the stone, the more risk. So you've got to have greater training and cultivation to work with a larger piece. But in my personal opinion, I think it's very important that you don't focus too much on the quantity of the stones. It's the quality and authenticity of the piece that you have that counts. You can't use fakes or imitations. You can't use a stone that looks real. And don't bother buying dozens of the same stone. Just look for quality. So be careful where you shop and make sure everything is genuine. There are plenty of other external stones, many of which have similar properties to them. Just to go quickly through the list of important ones, there is quartz, turquoise, which is placed under the water to bring rain, jasper, jade, bloodstones, holy stones, agate, obsidian, sunstone, selenite, hematite, aquamarine, emeralds, goshenite, malachite, alabaster, and opals. Before I go on to explain about the internal stones, I would like to tell you a very incredible life experience story that I went through some years ago now, back in 2011-ish. I was hitting a brick wall in my spiritual practices, and I wasn't sure why. It wasn't like I had stopped getting results. It was as though I couldn't break through, and for me, breakthroughs are very important. And I like to evolve spiritually and progress, and I wasn't doing that. I was kind of stagnating and getting the same things. And I thought, I really need to sit back and understand why this is happening, and maybe I'm just burning myself out doing this. And all of a sudden, my family decides to go on a vacation. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. I can't ignore my studies. I'm already in a position where I've got to pay more concentration to what I'm doing. I can't go on a 2-week vacation and ignore my weather magic even more. I've got to get even more intense into it. So anyway, I went on this vacation, and now I understand why. This is kind of the universe's way of teaching me a lesson and giving me that breakthrough that I really wanted. So on the way to the airport, all I could think about was my weather magic, and on the way to the holiday home in Spain, all I could think about again was my magic. And for me, I was kind of obsessing over why I had this blockage and why on earth couldn't I get past this psychic barrier in my mind that was stopping me from achieving greatness at that time. And so I must have been about 5 days into the vacation, and I wasn't really enjoying myself because my mind was in a different place, worrying and getting anxious about getting further into my rituals. And all of a sudden I'm on the beach and I'm looking around and I see on the water there's this bright light. You know where I'm going with this now. There's this bright light shining through the ocean water on the shore, and it's so bright it looked like a car headlight, and it was just intense. And I was looking at it and it was kind of blinding me. It's like a second sun. And I ran across that beach like a cheetah, and I ran down and I saw this stone, and it wasn't glowing. It looked like it was on fire. It was lit up. And I grabbed it, big heavy rock. It was basically a rock, not a stone. I grabbed it and I put it in my rucksack, and I ran the whole length of the beach back. I was basically worried that someone was going to take it off of me because it was such a beautiful piece. And as I was running back with the rock, I started to look up to the sky, and all of a sudden I could see this beautiful calm day in the height of summer in Spain on this beautiful beach. All of a sudden there was this gigantic tropical storm that had manifested within about 25 seconds of me removing the rock from the water and drying it off to put into my backpack. Everybody on that beach was really pissed off and upset, and I was the only person in the rain who was extremely happy because I got my answer from the universe within seconds of activating this stone. That was when the magic took place. And I'm not just talking about a little bit of wind and rain here when I say a storm came. I mean 85 miles per hour winds that were tearing down the beach huts, blowing around the sunbeds, tearing down the palm trees. They had to close down the beach. This huge water spout was forming in the ocean. The waves were growing. I mean, this stone has an ancient deity inside of it, in my opinion. And it just came forth and unleashed itself upon the world, locked inside for probably billions of years. And I was the one who was lucky enough to have the privilege of unlocking it. And that's what originally got me into collecting stones for weather magic. And I still have it to this very day, and I still use it. And I only use it in very extreme circumstances. So let's say, for example, if I'm having a bad day with my chi, if things aren't really working out, and all the other stones are failing to produce a desired result, I will bring out the big guns. I will bring out the big rock. And that produces the most intense and tenacious storms you will ever see. In fact, I've got to do a video one day just so you can see the difference between the normal types of storms that I can summon with my other smaller stones versus this huge one. Trust me, you're going to want to see that. So earlier in the video I mentioned internal stones. These are known as bezoars. In Taoist tradition, it is believed that internal stones were inhabited by the elemental spirits whilst they were forming inside of the body. Some of them are found in animals whilst others are found in humans. In ancient times, they were regarded to have a healing antidote quality to them. The word bezoar means antidote. You can find these stones in bears, snakes, wolves, eagles, horses, chickens, lizards even, just to name a few. And those that are found inside of the human body should be carried in a leather bag by the person who created it, otherwise called the host. And it should only be used in extreme circumstances. Because internal stones reside within the body, in weather magic they are often associated with humidity and water. It is known that the most powerful, potent bezoar stone is usually found in the stomachs of wolves. These bring forth very strong winds and drought. If one wanted to use an internal stone to predict future events using weather magic, this is very possible by using a bezoar from an eagle. For this to work, the practitioner should place the stone on a long pole. If the wind from the east begins to blow, it signifies good luck. If a northern wind blows, it means the practitioner will have good luck with his cows. If a southern wind blows, it signifies an important visitor will be coming to see him soon. But if a western wind blows, it's not so good. It signifies death. It's also important to note that some ordinary stones can also become magical if they are blessed and transformed by the Taoist priest. Although this process of transformation is quite a long one, it can take on average about 40 days of prayer to fully transform a regular stone into a sacred magical tool. So what would you have to use if you wanted to call forth snow, ice and frost and general wintry conditions? All types of bezoar stones can bring snow, but the ones found in the animal's stomach are more potent and powerful. So I would say use one that's found in the stomach of a snow leopard. One thing that I've always wanted to know is what stones and crystals did Zhuge Liang use to summon the wind at the Battle of Chibi at the Red Cliffs? Now this is very hard to figure out because there's no definitive answer on this. I've read through a lot of books and I've done a lot of research and I don't think we're ever likely to find out exactly what crystals or stones that he did use. But in my personal opinion, based on my knowledge of quartz crystals being connected with wind and air, I think it's very likely he used a variation of clear quartz crystals. So thank you for watching, everybody. This has been a very detailed video, I know, on stones and crystals, but this kind of knowledge is very powerful, and that's why I said at the beginning, you're definitely going to want to write down some of the stones that I've mentioned so you can try them out for yourself. And I'm going to be recording some practical videos where you can see me using the stones in action, and you can actually see the change that they bring about. That's what people want to see, and that's definitely something I'm going to do this summer. So thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.